Right now, as you watch this video, more than 15 Americans will receive a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. That is one new patient every 4 seconds. And the vast majority will walk out of the examination room with a prescription and no information about what is sitting in their grocery store. What if the most effective tools for stabilizing your blood sugar are not waiting in a pharmacy? What if they are in the produce section right now, costing less than a single copay, backed by peer-reviewed clinical trials your doctor has never mentioned? You have been told that type 2 diabetes is a lifelong condition requiring lifelong medication. But the pharmaceutical industry generates over $50 billion annually from diabetes drugs alone. Reversing insulin resistance with vegetables is not their business model. I have practiced internal medicine for 22 years. I have watched patients in the consultation room reduce their blood sugar, cut their medication doses, and in some cases eliminate prescriptions entirely, simply by adding the right vegetables consistently to their meals. A 2021 meta analysis published in Nutrients, reviewing data from over 140,000 patients, found that individuals with the highest vegetable intake had a 21% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. That is 1 in 5 people protected by what is on their plate. Today, I am revealing the 9 vegetables science has directly studied for blood sugar control, ranked from genuinely beneficial to absolutely remarkable. And number 3 will surprise nearly every senior I have ever worked with. Most people eat it occasionally. Almost nobody eats it consistently. And what it does to fasting blood sugar is something your doctor has almost certainly never discussed with you. Before we go further, drop a comment right now. Are you managing type 2 diabetes or prediabetes? And which of these vegetables are already part of your meals? We read every comment. Now, without any further delay, let us start at number 9. Number 9 is mushrooms. Mushrooms are that familiar, inexpensive ingredient most seniors toss into soups and pasta without much intention. Sliced portobello and shiitake mushrooms sit in every grocery store for under $2 per serving, and you may have some in your refrigerator right this moment. But inside your body, those mushrooms sauteing in a hot skillet are actively doing something your doctor has likely never explained. Mushrooms contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which slows glucose absorption in your small intestine and directly stimulates insulin production in your pancreas. As your body ages and insulin sensitivity declines, every tool that supports your cells in responding to insulin becomes genuinely critical. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that diabetic patients consuming mushroom compounds daily showed a 23% reduction in fasting blood sugar over 8 weeks. For many patients, that moves them from a diabetic reading to a pre-diabetic one. Aim for 3 servings per week, saute them in olive oil with garlic, and fold them into scrambled eggs each morning. The variety matters less than the consistency. Coming up at number 8 is a vegetable containing more of one critical vitamin than most oranges, and that vitamin competes directly with glucose for entry into your cells. Number 8 is bell peppers. Bell peppers are that colorful vegetable most seniors keep in their refrigerator drawer, sliced raw occasionally or tossed into a pan as an afterthought. 1 cup of red bell pepper contains 152 milligrams of vitamin C, more than most oranges sitting in a fruit bowl. That number matters directly for your blood sugar because vitamin C and glucose compete for the exact same cellular transport channels. When your vitamin C levels are high, less glucose enters your cells in the uncontrolled way that drives long-term complications. As your body ages, vitamin C retention declines and your kidneys excrete it faster. When that happens, glucose wins that competition every time. A 2021 study published in Diabetes and Metabolism found that daily vitamin C equivalent to 2 bell peppers reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by 36% in type 2 diabetic patients over 12 weeks. Eat red or yellow bell peppers raw with hummus daily. Slice them into eggs each morning. 3 to 4 servings per week. Always choose red over green. Green bell peppers carry a fraction of the vitamin C that ripened varieties deliver. Coming up at number 7 is a vegetable tested directly in clinical trials for its effect on insulin secretion, with results that are difficult to ignore. Number 7 is asparagus. Asparagus is the vegetable most seniors eat at restaurants or holiday tables and almost never prepare at home. Fresh asparagus spears in the produce aisle feel like a special occasion food rather than a daily health tool. But inside your body, roasted asparagus contains a prebiotic fiber called inulin that feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Your gut microbiome directly regulates your insulin sensitivity. When those bacteria are compromised through aging, antibiotic use, or a low fiber diet, your blood sugar control deteriorates alongside them, often silently, years before any test reveals the problem. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that asparagus extract improved insulin secretion by 81% and glucose uptake by 64% in controlled research models. Human trials in South Korea confirmed significant insulin sensitivity improvements in type 2 diabetic patients over 12 weeks. Roast a bundle at 400 degrees for 15 minutes with olive oil and lemon. 3 to 4 servings per week. There is no reason to save them for company. Coming up at number 6 is a vegetable so low in carbohydrates that swapping it for grains just twice a week cuts your weekly carbohydrate load by over 200 grams. Number 6 is zucchini. Zucchini is that mild, inexpensive squash sitting in the produce aisle year round, often passed over because it seems too plain to matter. 1 cup of cooked zucchini contains just 3.1 grams of carbohydrates. 1 cup of white rice contains 45. 1 cup of pasta contains 43. That gap is the gap between a stable blood sugar reading and a dangerous spike 2 hours after your meal. As your pancreas produces less insulin with age, controlling carbohydrate volume becomes the most direct lever available to you. A study published in Nutrition and Diabetes found that replacing refined grain carbohydrates with low-carb vegetables reduced post-meal glucose by an average of 29% in type 2 diabetic patients over 12 weeks. Spiralize it as a pasta replacement, slice it into rounds, and saute in olive oil. Hollow it out into zucchini boats filled with ricotta and spinach. 2 grain replacements per week is the starting target. Coming up at number 5 is a vegetable most people know only as a carb substitute, but it contains a compound that directly protects your liver, and your liver determines how efficiently your body clears insulin after every meal. Number 5 is cauliflower. Cauliflower is that white vegetable riced or mashed on kitchen counters across the country. Most people reach for it to avoid carbohydrates. But 1 cup of cauliflower rice contains 5 grams of carbohydrates against 53 grams in white rice. And beyond that swap, it contains choline that supports liver function and reduces fat accumulation in liver tissue. Diabetics develop non-alcoholic fatty liver disease at significantly higher rates than the general population. A compromised liver clears insulin less efficiently, which raises blood sugar even when you are eating carefully. A 2020 review published in Nutrients confirmed that cruciferous vegetables, including cauliflower, were associated with improved liver enzyme profiles and reduced hepatic inflammation in metabolic syndrome patients. Use it as rice at least twice per week. Mash it in place of potatoes. Build a cauliflower crust pizza topped with spinach and tomatoes on the weekend. If you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. We cover natural approaches to blood sugar control and senior health every single week. Now let us keep going because number 4 blocks the exact enzyme your gut uses to convert starch into glucose. Number 4 is cabbage. Red cabbage is that inexpensive vegetable sitting in every produce section for under $1 per head. Most seniors boil it colorless and wonder why they bother. Eaten raw or lightly roasted, it is one of the most targeted blood sugar tools available. The deep purple color in red cabbage comes from compounds called anthocyanins. These anthocyanins block alpha glucosidase, the enzyme in your small intestine that breaks dietary starch into glucose. Block that enzyme, and glucose releases into your bloodstream gradually instead of spiking. As your insulin response slows with age, this upstream intervention becomes genuinely significant. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that red cabbage anthocyanins significantly reduced blood glucose levels and improved insulin resistance markers in diabetic models. Roast red cabbage steaks in a hot cast iron skillet until the edges char and caramelize. Slice it thin and dress it with olive oil and lemon, 3 servings per week. Never boil it gray. The anthocyanins disappear when you cook the color out of it. Coming up at number 3 is the vegetable most seniors with diabetes have been quietly avoiding. The research says that decision has been costing them. Number 3 is tomatoes. Tomatoes are the vegetable most seniors managing diabetes have quietly removed from their plates. They taste slightly sweet, and the assumption is that sweet means a blood sugar spike. You may have made that decision without ever checking whether the science supported it. But inside your body, roasted tomatoes carry a glycemic index of just 15, lower than almost every grain, and processed carbohydrate people eat without concern. More importantly, tomatoes are the richest dietary source of lycopene, a carotenoid antioxidant that targets the vascular inflammation diabetes drives silently through your arteries over years. As your blood vessels lose elasticity with age, that protection becomes the difference between managing diabetes and managing its complications. A 2023 meta-analysis published in Nutrients reviewing data from over 130,000 patients, found that higher lycopene intake was associated with a 28% reduction in cardiovascular mortality among type 2 diabetic patients. Cook your tomatoes. Heat increases lycopene bioavailability by up to 35%. Roast them in olive oil. Add them to eggs each morning. Never assume sweet means dangerous. Coming up at number 2 is the vegetable that addresses the most overlooked deficiency in diabetic patients, found in nearly half of all type 2 diabetics and directly linked to insulin receptor failure. Number 2 is spinach. Spinach is the vegetable most seniors know they should eat more of and eat only occasionally, added to a salad or pasta as an afterthought. Magnesium deficiency is present in 48% of type 2 diabetics. Magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including the mechanisms that allow insulin to bind to cell receptors and move glucose where it belongs. As your body ages, magnesium absorption declines, your kidneys excrete it faster, and many common diabetes medications deplete it further. When magnesium falls, insulin resistance rises silently, years before a blood sugar reading flags the problem. Fresh spinach wilted in a skillet with olive oil delivers 157 milligrams of magnesium per cooked cup. A meta-analysis published in Diabetes Care, reviewing data from nearly 300,000 patients, found that each 100 milligram increase in daily dietary magnesium was associated with a 15% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. 1 cup cooked every single day if possible. Fold it into eggs. blend it into smoothies, wilt it into soups in the final 2 minutes. It disappears into the flavor of almost any dish. And now, number one, the vegetable that produced results so significant that the lead researcher called it the most promising natural compound for blood sugar control he had encountered in decades. Number one is broccoli. Broccoli is that vegetable most seniors have eaten their entire lives and continue to underestimate. Fresh broccoli florets sit in every grocery store for under $2 per bunch. But inside your body, broccoli contains a compound called sulforaphane that activates a protein called NRF2, which directly regulates glucose production in your liver. Uncontrolled hepatic glucose output is one of the primary drivers of elevated fasting blood sugar in type 2 diabetics. It is why your morning reading is often the highest of the day before you have eaten anything. Your liver has been releasing glucose overnight. Sulforaphane targets that process directly. In 2017, a landmark study published in Science Translational Medicine tested sulforaphane in type 2 diabetic patients who had not responded adequately to metformin. Patients receiving sulforaphane showed a 10% reduction in fasting blood glucose compared to placebo. The lead researcher described it as the most significant natural blood sugar finding he had encountered in decades of research. 1 cup per day is the clinical dose. Steam it lightly or roast it at 400 degrees until the edges crisp. Always add olive oil or avocado alongside it because fat increases sulforaphane absorption significantly. At under $2 per bunch, it costs less than most supplements making the same promises with a fraction of the evidence behind them. Before you go, here are 5 breakfasts using exactly what we just covered. First, a Mediterranean egg scramble with wilted spinach, diced tomatoes, crumbled feta, and olive oil. Magnesium, lycopene, protein, and healthy fat in one skillet in 10 minutes. Second, a cauliflower and broccoli bowl with 2 soft boiled eggs. Low carb base, sulforaphane, no glucose spike. Third, a zucchini and turkey sausage hash with sliced avocado alongside. The fat slows glucose absorption from every other ingredient on the plate. Fourth, savory chia pudding layered with diced fresh tomatoes and wilted spinach in a small glass jar. Fifth, red cabbage egg wraps with scrambled eggs and avocado, folded and served immediately. No bread, no spike, a complete meal in under 10 minutes. Protein plus healthy fat plus fiber equals stable glucose and 4 to 5 hours of sustained energy. That is the entire formula. Type 2 diabetes is not a sentence. It responds directly to what you put on your plate, meal by meal, day by day. The 9 vegetables in this video are not folk remedies. They are clinically studied, mechanism verified tools your body is already equipped to use. Drop a comment right now with which vegetable you are adding to your meals this week. And if you are managing diabetes with medication, share your current A1C below. We read every comment. What you share could reach another senior who needs to read exactly what you write. And this video right here is exactly where we go next.